Hi everyone, it's Peter from PS Sound, and now this is the final part of this series with the Golf GTI we built 2 weeks ago. This is the exciting part when we hand over to the owner, and I try to create content which gives as real feedback to you as possible straight from the owner when he managed to listen to it, and then he could share his thoughts about how he got to us, how he went through different shops and how he was unhappy before. So it's gonna be great because, well, I know I was there. But he's one of those, like many new clients we've got who don't have experience, who are not competitors, who've never had a fully active system, those people who don't understand what staging is and all that crazy malarkey. So you will see what he thought about it and how he thought first that we were not approachable because we do many high-end installs, and most people think that we only work on cars where we put in 30-40 days labor into those systems, and then people who just want something simple, they run away. But it's not the case. I've built many cars where we only spend 5-10 days on the cars. It always depends on the platform, what we work with, how much custom fabrication it needs or not. But he's going to share his thoughts on it as well. So it's going to be super exciting. So check out the following, probably, 20-25 minutes, and you will see the end of this series now. So enjoy. Here we go. So this is the moment. This is the big moment when you're going to hear your car. Yep. That's the time. I put it to widescreen, then we can see more from this beautiful Golf. You heard my Honda, so you have an idea about what to expect, really. Yes. When it comes to staging and all that malarkey. But obviously it's different now when you are sitting in your own car. So first we are going to play just few great sounding songs. Then at some point I will have to disconnect my microphone because it's very sensitive and can easily distort. Because if we go mad, then it will be just full distortion, nothing else. But we are interested in what you think about this system. So there you go. Just hit play on it, it takes over. Simple as that.
I won't play your games no more. If you won't believe my motives, or if you want to leave this lonely home, well, I won't play your games no more. When the colors fade out of there, when the colors fade, I'll go. And when the votes are made, I'll not make more. When the votes are made, I'll know. We were formed from a small set of emotions, overground. Nothing here.
Shall we turn it back to what it was?
No, thank you. No. Jeez, man. That's nice. Sounds good. Sounds exceptionally good.
Can you visualize the image of the voice
Yeah,
in front of you?
to be honest with you, even the sub sounds like it's a different sub. It totally different. It just everything just sounds
tuned.
so different.
It's tuned. Now it's a system.
It just sounds like a miniature version of your car, in all honesty.
And that's what everything should be about, really.
I mean,
There you go now.
I always knew your car was going to be amazing, but
I'll take you to your pub now.
you can just.
Went down to St. James Infirmary. See my baby there. Lay down on the long white table. So cold, so fair. rocks that gold man Stetson high. I put a $20 gold coin on my watch chain, so all the boys can see I died standing pain.
It's amazing. I've actually got bass up front. It doesn't feel like it's disconnected between the front and the back.
Yeah. Like your car has its own limitations. What people could see from the previous video, which I will share first, about the RTA measurements and everything, they will see that no car is perfect.
Of course.
Especially when you use factory locations, especially for mid-bass.
Yeah.
Then this driver would sound completely different in another car.
Yeah, like it did
But-
in the bus.
Yeah, but what we could get out of your car as well now, and when you were saying earlier, first you didn't want a DSP, right?
Well, I didn't know what it was. I didn't know if I needed one.
What you could do with it.
I didn't know what was possible.
Yeah.
And initially I declined DSP.
Yeah.
And then the more I started to research and the more homework I started to do, you know, people are telling me, oh, the DSP tells the speaker what frequency to play. But hang on a minute, doesn't the amp have built-in filters? You tell the amp to tell the
Yeah,
speakers
those are
what
just filters.
frequency. Yeah, but
Yeah.
no, because what someone explained it perfectly the other day. They said that basically a DSP, what it does to a speaker is basically like putting it in a box and almost like amplifying it or getting the right sound out of it.
Okay, then I explain it. I explain it simply
Just
because now
know-
what you're saying, you are still far away from the reality what you need a DSP for. Obviously, when you were down, we had a quick demo in
Apart
the
from
Honda.
tiner alignment.
Yeah. Well, basically, the big problem in a car is that you sit offset.
Yeah.
You don't sit in the middle. If you
No,
can
of
set up two speakers, a stereo pair speaker at home, you would put them to equal distance from you, from your listening position.
Or you'd sit in the middle, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But in a car, you sit offset.
Yeah.
So without a DSP, when you can't do any adjustments, you only ever really hear your driver's side. Why is that?
Because you're closest to it.
So what happens when you are closer to it?
So you can hear.
Well, it's
That's what
louder.
gets you first. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it's louder than passenger side. So passenger side is quieter. You don't hear much from that. Plus, as that's closer, you also hear that earlier.
Earlier.
It's not a big difference between left and right where you sit. There's like half a meter difference between the two sides. But because of that, when you have a mono recording, you only ever really hear anything from that side.
Yeah.
You don't really hear much from that. And let alone all the drivers are at different locations in the car. So the time it takes for the sound to get from the speaker to your ear is different from every single driver.
Of course, yeah.
Whereas if you have two floor standers at home or two bookshelves, the timing between mid-bass, mid and tweeter is pretty much the same thing, especially as you sit, 4, 5, 6 meters
I
away.
get that, yeah.
Whereas here, even like 2 centimeter difference between tweeter and mid matters a lot.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So now when we have a DSP, then I can delay those speakers in time, so you will hear that side the same time with this side.
Yeah, and I guess also the other important thing to note is active. The fact that every single speaker has got its own dedicated channel. That
Yeah.
means each one can be time aligned
Exactly.
individually. Because
Yeah.
there are some people who do time alignment on like passive.
No, really. It's
You
just
know, like they
it's
say that they can only time align the mid or something like that, or and you just think, well, what's the point?
there are some crossover systems where you can do a bit of alignment, but it's absolutely pointless. Not to mention when you run passive,
It has to be active. It has to be.
the passive crossover takes so much efficiency away. You lose so much level, and whereas in active, fully active with the DSP, you don't have anything between the DSP and the amplifier, or you don't have any passive component between the amplifier and the speakers. So it's way more efficient.
Yeah.
Someone sat in your car yesterday, I think. Yeah, the Porsche owner. And some people said, are these JLMs loud enough? Because they are not that powerful, right?
Yeah, no one really knows much about them except...
Well, I will turn the system up full tilt to you. You will shit yourself.
I guess the only thing people know is watching amp dyno videos on YouTube.
It
But
doesn't matter.
that's half the story.
Yeah, but people don't even know how loud one single watt
Yeah,
is.
one
I'll show
watt
you
is.
what 1 watt is.
Well, I know exactly, judging by the mid-range you have in your car that you played for me, just your mid-range alone,
Yeah.
which is rated, what, 30 watt?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
These are the same.
that blew the Voce components out the water by a country mile.
Yeah.
Say what you like, whether
but
I had DSP or not, at the end of the day, I was sending 75 watts to it. And
No, you don't know how much
And-
you send to your speaker. You have a 75 watt amplifier. How much you send to your speaker is a different story.
different story, yeah.
Especially in fully active, tweeters hardly get any power. They even if you go full tilt, the tweeter may see 10-20 watts. Then the
Yeah,
mid may see
maximum.
like 20-30. Mid bass that gets decent beating in the door.
70?
Yeah, that can take all the power if you go silly. And then obviously the sub again.
Yeah,
Bass
but then
requires
again-
the power.
But then again, in the doors, you're always going to have resonance and rattles.
Oh,
and
that's
stuff
that's a
like that.
different story. But you know, when we talk about fully active and why you need a DSP for,
This is what it's for.
but it's also the problem of the shop. When you went there first, they didn't really show you differences, or they didn't have presets in their demo cars, because you sat in one of their demo cars, right?
There was a preset of time alignment
Hmm.
and no time alignment, or DSP on, DSP off. And initially, I didn't actually know what I was listening out for, so I didn't actually notice a difference. Just there was a break in the music, and then all of a sudden it was music
different.
again. So I had to go back for a second hearing, and then I could hear it, but for me to justify that sort of money and the work, you know, I just
Well, it's probably
I left
because-
it alone. I left it alone.
Yeah, because probably when they showed their car, even with the timeline preset, it wasn't that amazing to make you feel like shit. I need a DSP. You know what I mean? Whereas I just showed my preset in the Honda with just 2 speakers to you.
Yeah.
What
No,
I can
that
do with the
was-
DSP in 5 minutes.
That was massive.
And
Those
that
two
shocks anyone.
speakers alone.
Exactly. Well, like
Those two speakers alone. Yeah.
with this one as well, this is a very well focused song. You have to be able to image the singer from the center as if he was rapping to you. Can you locate him?
Good, but any car can get a wax. Anyway, I like cars a lot. Whenever I pass a shop with reflective windows, I slow down and make a man pass. But here's the problem with second-hand cars: you don't know what they've been through. Kinda like people. Some people might look like a Bugatti, but don't get too happy, cause they like to move scatty. I call them use Cat D. Maybe the numbers are good, but it's all messed up under the hood. And anyone can look good with a light off when you're blind to the fact it's a write-off. See, that's why we don't commit. Girls don't like guys that are broken shit. Guys don't like
Can you
girls that are
visualize
broken
him?
shit. It's a joke, a myth.
I know you're not a trained person.
It's eye level, isn't it? It's just the way the sound gets to me.
It's all in front of
I
you.
mean, bear in mind, I came here with something that was slightly to the left.
Oh, that was very far to the left first. You heard everything coming from just this side of the car and
I
down
did,
low.
yeah. But initially, when I heard songs on it, maybe because the music was played or the songs were being played through Tidal or something, it didn't sound as bad. But during normal everyday, you know, driving to work and home and listening to the radio, that's when I started to notice it was to the left. So I was like, oh, man, you know, no.
You didn't have any mid-range in the car, you had nothing.
After everyone telling me get a DSP, get a DSP, get a DSP, finally got a DSP. Then I had to find someone to install it and someone who knows how to tune it, and then 9 out of 10 times no one actually really knows how to tune a DSP. So
Yeah, the ratio is a bit more. Probably like 99.9%
Yeah.
of the shops don't know how to tune properly.
yeah.
Well, I mean, you know,
I'm not
most
trying
of
to be. I'm not trying to be unfair to anyone, but
yeah, I know.
But at
I know
the
it
same
sounds
time,
quite
like,
big-headed from me as well, but I know, you know, the cars that come to us, they may set up safe crossover points, but they can't even make sure that the speakers are in phase
Well,
from left to right.
my tweeters were distorting.
Oh, your tweeters were crackling.
So in other words, I was
Hand
actually
knows what they did.
I was actually better off. I was happier, passive.
Yeah.
And so I lost all my faith in DSP.
I honestly, I don't
up
know.
until now.
I don't know what happened with that preset, because once we pulled everything out of the car and I started working, that preset wasn't saved on my laptop and I didn't load it in, so I
I'm
couldn't
glad
see.
it's lost forever.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
It's
It's
not
gone.
worth saving.
It's gone for
That was
good.
an embarrassment anyway.
But
okay.
yeah, the tweet, I should have recorded it, to be fair, because the tweeters were not that they were harsh, they were crackling like if there was no crossover on them. It was terrible, or the input signal from the head unit was clipping or something. It
Yeah,
was
I
horrendous.
don't know,
You could have killed those tweeters, but yeah, you couldn't enjoy it at those levels because it was just terrible. Whereas with this one, you can do silly things.
No, I mean even at low volume, I can hear the perfect detail in the songs. I know we're playing high quality music, but I guess in the two-way set there was always something that I was missing. There was certain
All the mid-range, yeah.
basically, yeah.
All the mid-range
Yeah, basically.
that you were missing.
Sister, you know you got a friend in me. Sister, sister, I'm giving you props, respect and dignity.
Well, one thing is sure, now you have a really transparent system. You can throw anything on it and it will show if it's good recording or not good recording.
Yes.
And you will also now change your listening habit as well, because you will be able to park up somewhere and listen to it even on low levels and enjoy it, not just blasting it full tilt.
No, that's right, yeah.
And this will be quite a journey for you from now on. This is your first day being a proper owner of a proper sound quality system.
Yeah.
Till this point, you didn't really have a clue what.
I mean, yeah, the problem is you don't have a clue, and then obviously it doesn't matter where you look on the internet these days. It's always the same companies offering the same brands, all sort of, this is the direction you want to go, trust us, and you'll end up dropping 4, 5, 6, I don't know. Some people, when they start buying mids which are £1,000 a go, and you've got tweeters £1,000 a go, like Focal
And you think that's what you
Utopian.
need.
And then you think it's what you need. I mean, like myself, I started off with a Voce components, and I was genuinely thinking of getting the Hertz Melee Legends, which was double the price, $7.99.
To be fair, there's nothing terribly wrong with those speakers. The problem is all the shops who use them, they just can't get great results out of them. And that's one of the reasons that I will have to make a video about why I use what I use and why I don't use what other shops use. Because if I was using Hertz, Audis and all those,
you could make it sound good.
of course I can.
Yeah.
I can make anything sound good.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
then,
again, I don't want to be unfair to those brands, but I mean, if I was, for example, a car detailer, someone who washed cars, and I polished the side of your door, and you put a light on it, and there were still some scratches on it. I mean, I've got the right equipment, but I'm not using it right. I'm not using the compound right. I'm not using the machine right. And it's the same for DSP. But people are obsessed with offering customers DSPs. Like, DSP is such a word that's used so loosely. And it's wrong. It shouldn't be. Like, people need to first understand and learn what it is. I mean...
Well, probably you didn't see my playlist before you decided to go to a shop or get a system.
I didn't even know about you before I went to the
Because
shop.
once
So-
people watch the sound quality in-car playlist that I designed and made dedicated to people who have no reference and no experience, and break it down simply, what is active. And then I talked about that for like half an hour. Why do you need active system? Why do you need DSP for? Which DSP? Then people get an idea. And I wasn't mentioning not a single brand name. It's not about the brand.
Yeah.
It's about understanding what a good system requires. But we have to mention something here, because earlier you mentioned it before we started recording, that you also thought that you wouldn't want to bother me because you see all my really expensive crazy builds, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think the very first video I saw was of the Blue Scirocco, and I was like, oh my goodness, these brands I've never even heard of. Do a quick Google search. Oh my goodness, okay. Then I saw the build of the 6 series, and then I saw the M5, and then the the E class, and
You see all those big beards with expensive equipment.
Those Zapco amps at like £1,400-1,500 a car. I thought, whoa, this is big boy territory. I don't know if I can enter this. So I was very scared to reach out because I had already lost a certain amount of money on my initial build, and I only found you on YouTube, maybe thanks to YouTube algorithm. Thank you, no thank you, because I found you too late, right? Yeah. But at the same time, I was scared to reach out because I thought, well, this guy's going to want to put some Zapco amps in my car, and it's going to end up costing me 10-15 grand, and I can't afford to do that.
You learned the lesson. I have a video about that as well. When people ask me, what amplifier, and I say that's the least important thing in a system to make it sound good.
I wasn't forced to buy anything.
Yeah, I didn't push you towards anything.
I was the one who wanted I was the one who wanted
wanted to
those
change the
mids.
mid-bass.
I was the one who then wanted to put a new tweeter in, and then I don't know when this came about, the MS30. I think I
Well,
was
we
sort of,
started talking, and I told you that two-way is never gonna be great.
yes.
So why don't we go three-way when you have the DSP channels, you have amplification, you had spare amps at home,
Yeah, and
you
then
had everything to go for it.
even those amps, I was worried. I was afraid those amps weren't going to be good enough, and
For the money, they're great, honestly.
I think I overpaid because Helix do the exact same thing with 100 watts, 4 ohm or 2 ohm in any channel.
Well,
and-
those are the DSP amps. You know,
yeah, but I
people
think I
could
would have
see
been better off. But at
it
that
would have been a
point in
simpler
time,
system, and I would have suggested
Yeah.
that to you for a daily.
less cabling, less
Yeah,
RCAs,
exactly.
less
You
many
save a
things.
lot. You save a lot on installation time, material, and everything if you use a DSP amp, and they sound good enough. But then, of course, some people still believe in the big audiophile, you know, AB class or A class amplification, which take up a lot of space, a lot of heat, and that's where they see that the quality would come from. Whereas now, and then many people already started talking about me that, oh no, you Steg, you are like Fred and Sound, and then they just laugh. And I'm like, hang on a second, there's a big difference between showing 3 speakers on a channel, which makes no sense, and I use them. And I can tell to people now that that tweeter and that mid, it costs, I don't want to swear, but it costs fuck all. Well, compared to British income and what we can get from that money.
Compared to a Miele Legend 3-way, which is just upwards of £1,000, yeah, absolutely. But,
These are cheap compared to that, and they sound great.
but the thing about Fred and Sound or whatever, I stumbled upon his videos again. And yes, it's nice listening to them in free air, but I'd never listened to a Steg in reality. It was only when I watched your video of the RS6 when
Yeah.
you swapped out the Focal KX2
Yeah.
for that Steg, and the results, I
be-
was like, whoa.
To be fair,
okay.
I like, but that was the installation that
was
was
like,
wrong there.
yeah,
You know,
yeah, no, fair
I
enough,
like that
but-
4K mid bass. That's a great driver for door application. That's a beast. You can really send it. You can.
It's 2 ohm, so I mean, I would be sending
That-
100 watt into that.
Yeah, that one too. You would get a bit more power, but it's irrelative. You know, any speaker can sound great, and any speaker can sound equally shit. You learned it too.
Oh, thanks to DSP, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And now when people, you know, saw all these videos from your project as well, they may think, okay, now I'm gonna get all this kit because it sounded so great in Pete's video. The problem is that you know, it's all about installation and tuning, and if people don't know how to do those things,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. They could have, you know, instead of these speakers, something 10 times more expensive, and still.
To be honest with you, I think if you were tuning it, you could have something 10 times worse and it will still come out good.
Yeah.
In fairness.
When we powered your system on the very first time, Eddie was just about to leave because it was the end of the day. We powered it on, and I was staying late to tune it. And we powered it on. I just unmuted the speakers, basic crossovers, nothing, no timing, no equalization, nothing whatsoever. We just turned it on, and then shit, we were laughing. We were like, fucking hell, you know, it sounds
Good.
10 times better straight away
yeah, yeah.
than what you came with. And it doesn't surprise me anymore, because that's the other thing. I get annoyed when I see all these nightmare installs from other shops, but at the same time I shouldn't be surprised, because if someone is happy with the system, why would they come to me?
Of course. I mean, it's like
They
me.
would just
you know,
enjoy
I'm
the system.
1 in a million that you would have seen that the tweeter was glued from the back. I mean, how many people are going to look behind their freshly built A-pillars? Only me, right? I mean, those A-pillars went in there for
Yeah.
any longer than 3 months. And I already knew that I was looking for something more, because it
They would-
just,
they would
in
take
my
it out.
opinion, it wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
But, oh no, get a DSP. Okay, get a DSP, get it installed, get it tuned. Sounds even worse than before. Okay, what is the problem here? Must be the tuner. Okay, let's take it to a decent tuner. Right, we come to a decent tuner. Well,
Everything
seeing
is
as
wrong.
if you're at the decent tuner, you might as well now go the whole 9 yards and do what you want to do and get it over and done with. And this is the result.
We turned it around pretty quick, to be fair, in a week. Well, it was 3 of us here and there. Nick only helped half a day. Eddie did 3.5, and I did the rest. So all in all, what was it? 8 days, 9 days?
Something like that.
I don't even know. So it can be done in a week, and it would have been way simpler if we had designed it and started it from scratch. But
Yeah, I know.
Here it is.
But that's also partly my fault.
now it's a good lesson for many others who may watch these videos, and it should give them clues. They don't have to bring the cars to me, especially if they don't live in this country, but they should change their perception about what's important.
Yeah. I mean, knowing now, I would have done things very differently.
Yeah.
Very differently.
You know what? I unplug this microphone now and we will go nuts, because you wanna feel the system, not just hearing it.
Yeah, I wanna.
So we have two presets. We have to mention that too. The URC freeze down there.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah.
So the green is a more linear tune where the front end plays lower, and there's a better integration between the front end and the sub.
And the sub, yeah.
On the second preset, which is red, if you switch the button,
Yeah.
just that, it takes a few seconds to switch over. The doors are crossed a little bit higher,
Okay.
and the sub also plays higher to give you better punch, and I will explain why, because you have acoustical limitations in the cabin. But this way you can really send the system.
Yes.
You can go silly if you want. Even with the other preset, you can go up to like a good 80-85% of the volume scale, so it's very loud. But then this preset is for madness.
100, yeah.
Should you want to go crazy, because
Which I do.
because I know you like electronic music. Also, it's difficult to tell where it's perfect sub level, because sub is only ever integrated to the front perfectly on one given level, but because it's an infinite controller there, and normally nothing happens on the first 2 o'clock, you know, not much, and then it just disappears. So it's a bit shit. That's why it's good to have like the director controller where you see the scale and the numbers.
Yeah.
Well, people might have heard this song before. Really great production.
That's very good. That's spot on, absolutely spot on. Beans, man.
And you have 30-watt speakers with
Yeah.
small amplifiers.
Yeah.
Of course, anything can be louder, but if you listen to the system like this for more than half an hour, you will have hearing problems
No,
too.
I like that. I
But
like that.
you can send it.
Chances are the amount of times I listen to music like that, especially summer, windows open. That's it.
But the good thing is, you know, you send it further and further, everything, the whole front end keeps up. That's what most people struggle with.
Now I'm starting to think maybe I need 2 subs. One isn't cutting it.
Then you need bigger power cable, you need bigger battery and all those things. So
we'll sort that out.
now the car is
Next year.
comfortable with this amount of current drawn. It should be fine. But you know, if you go anywhere beyond this, you have to upgrade the power supply of the car as well, because
Well, that's pretty good. I think that's up to approved.
yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. I like this mode. Yeah, no, this is good. This is the one.
It's one of those things I always tell
And
to
now
people.
I can't feel the difference between the void in the back because I've got speakers in the back that are working.
Yeah, but you
As
can't,
it
you can't
came
locate
from
them.
the factory. No, I can't locate them because
But they
these
had-
ones are just blasting in my face. But this is what I needed. Was this so
Yeah.
difficult to accomplish?
With passive
Some
two-way,
people,
and then
yeah.
after that with the DSP added with the shit tune, of course it was difficult.
Yeah.
But for us, you know, if I just do, this is where I would start the system. If you have to use factory location for mid-bass, 100% freeway, build a pillar that you can swap out anytime when the car has to be sold, anything like that.
Yeah,
Some
yeah,
people are like, I don't want to see the speakers on display. Well, then black them out, put a speaker cloth in front of it or something, or just don't park your car at a dodgy place, put it in the car park. Or I know some people don't have that luxury because they live at a rougher place, but then I would rather worry about getting the car stolen.
Yeah.
Because they can't take these pillars out of the car.
No.
They can't take these speakers out. So we don't live the days like back in the 90s.
No, we're not in South Africa.
Oh, that, yeah. When people looked in, oh, head unit.
Parcel shelf was gone, head unit was gone.
Yeah. We are not living those days. So people shouldn't panic about that. Let's see something else. Because you like electronic music, right? You do? You do.
I like it, of course, yeah.
But you have your own
Not
genres.
my own, but I mean,
We will find it.
I'm not too bothered about that.
So this is something crazy I use these days for party mode. Because some people don't want to believe how far a system can be pushed, especially, yeah, my Honda, that's a different story. But then this song brings the animal out of anything. There you go, MVMB. Who knows who they are. This is a mad tune.
And everything in the universe is conscious.
Yeah, this goes silly levels.
Somehow, the part of us that is the conscious mind must be only a small portion of what consciousness really is, and therefore, somehow we have been shielded from the truth. We've been shielded from the reality of who and what we really are. We've been shielded from the reality of who and what we really are.
Yeah, man. That is what I expect. I'll be honest with you, like that. It sounds beautiful. This is exactly what I needed.
Yeah, it sounds great even at crazy levels.
Oh, without doubt. That's not even.
We're gonna probably cut it here now because that is gonna come soon. Plus we have loads more to do.
Yeah. I need to
We-
look at the back.
We have to connect, yeah, we have to look at the back.
Yeah.
Then we have to connect your phone. Have to pack up. Well, at least you're not in a rush because Mrs. and sister is shopping and they must enjoy that.
Yeah.
But this is gonna be the end of this series and hopefully people liked it because it was tough for me to keep up with the daily updates. That's for sure. It was breaking me that
There's
week.
a lot of people appreciate it.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping because that's all I can do. Share these videos to educate people so they find their nirvana. Let's put it that way.
100%.
Guys, go to the description. We will have few links over there. Also, if you want to see more behind the scene content or daily updates like what you could see from this project, because I can't do that with every single project, then every type of video like that is going to be shared on Patreon, as well as RTA measurements, weekly topics and everything else. There's a lot to learn from Patreon, so please check it out. You're not going to regret it. All those at this stage when we are shooting this video, I almost have 160 people subscribed on Patreon, so it's growing, and yeah, most people really take a lot away from it. So definitely check that one out, subscribe to the channel, and yeah, we will show some crazy stuff in the future, hopefully more and more. There you go, Eddie arrived. That's it. Take care, guys.